Right then, Transfer Review is back. It is the first episode of the summer. I'm not Stephen Howson. He isn't here this week. He'll be back next week. But this is the show where we go through all the transfer stories of the week and review them out of 10 based on their likeliness. It is windy. My hair's all over the place. But let's get into it. First up then, on the transfer ins, this is who United are looking at this summer. And first up, we have Lenny Yoro, reported in Marca. This is an 18-year-old centre-back. He plays for Lille. He looks exceptional. Real Madrid want him. Everyone wants him. Man United want him, of course. And like I said, Marca, they're saying that we have bid 50 million quid for this guy already. That seems a little bit unlikely to me. Whilst he's a very good player, and I'd be quite keen to bring him in, but this idea that we've already made a bid for him and it's been rejected, and it's only known by a sort of slightly unreliable source from Spain, doesn't really make any sense to me. It sounds like they're putting pressure on Real Madrid to hurry up and get this guy signed. I don't think this will happen. I'd love it to. I think he looks exceptional, but for me, I can't, in any good faith, no good faith at all, give this any more than a 4 out of 10. And I'm sticking to Steve's stingy numbers as well. 4 out of 10. And I think I'm pushing it at that. Up next then, out of Portugal this time, it is Inacio. Now, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but he plays for Sporting Lisbon. He's a 22-year-old centre-back. We're clearly in the market for a centre-back. And weirdly, like we supposedly made a 60 million euro or 51 million pound bid for Lenny Yoro just a minute ago, like I said, this guy's got a 51 million pound or 60 million euro release clause. So we don't need to bid. We can just, there you go, we're having him. And I think that maybe, my hair is literally in my eyes, I think that maybe would make this deal slightly easier. The only problem is, do we want him? Do we want to spend that money on him? And if we really did, we could probably have him by now. So that suggests to me that Record and Ojogo, or Jog On, as I'm going to call him from now on, I think they might be making this one up. I'm going to give this an even lower 2 out of 10. Up next then, and this is starting to become a theme now, United have reportedly made a £51 million or 60 million euro bid for Benfica midfielder João Neves. He's a young player, 19 years old. This is coming out of Record in Portugal. It's supposedly been rejected, but what is it with everyone we want costing 60 million euros, 51 million pounds? Something's not right here. I think there's some kind of financial tomfoolery going on where we want people to think we want to pay 50 million. Everyone's talking about these 60 million euro bids. Something weird is going on. João Neves is a very good player, but he's got a 120 million pound release clause. Fabrizio Romano himself has said, at the moment, Benfica will not entertain anything other than that release clause, which, I mean, you don't need to do the maths, I can do it for you. Half of what we've supposedly bid for him. Again, I don't believe it. Where has this bid come from? Why has only Record in Portugal got this bid? I think it's nonsense. However, I do think we may well be interested in him. So overall, the transfer, in terms of likelihood, I'll give it a 3 out of 10. But this whole 50 million thing isn't going to happen. And this whole 120 million euro release clause also ain't going to happen. Like I said, 3 out of 10. I think there's interest there, but we've got a long way to go in terms of a fee. Right then, up next is Michael Olise from Crystal Palace, 22-year-old attacker, winger. United need a player in that position. According to the Daily Standard, according to the Daily Mail, according to plenty of others as well, United are interested in signing this guy. And what's this? Sneaking up behind us again? Well, not really. 60 million price tag. Why is that the only number we can write? Jim Ratcliffe can only write the number 60. I don't know what that's about. That's very, very odd. But it's meant to be 60 million again. This one, I do think there's a decent chance. He's a tricky winger. We've played against him. We know how good he is. He's the sort of player that United need. Our right-hand side at the minute is pretty desperate. Anthony's not quite there. Sancho doesn't even play for us. Greenwood doesn't even play for us. They're probably going to leave in the summer. We need someone in that position. And Olise, it seems like we can probably get him for, you guessed it, around 60 million. And I personally think that would be a decent bit of business. And I do also think, crucially, that United think that would be good business as well. I'm going to give this one, I think, 6 out of 10. I think we've got a decent chance of seeing Olise come into Manchester United, but we're not there yet. Right, we've had the ins. Now let's go to the outs. Casemiro first up on the list. Carragher slagged him off. Everyone slagged him off. It sounds like his time at Manchester United is done. And the only real people who seem to be after him are Saudi Arabia. And I say that as though, you know, that's a country, but they also pretty much run and own their whole league as well. So there's about 4 different clubs, including Al Nassr, that are supposedly interested in him. I think they'll sort of buy him and then put him into a club that needs a sort of superstar. That tends to be how it works in that league. And the mad thing with this is, caught offside, reporting that we are interested, or should I say we're interested, of course we are, that Saudi Arabia are interested in giving us around 100 million euros for him, which is, I don't know, 60 million euros more than we would probably accept for him. Why on earth would they start at 100 million when they could go, would you take 40 million? And we go, yeah, probably. No sense whatsoever. And I know Saudi Arabia spend big money and Neymar's got this £200 million a year contract, etc. But they haven't spent crazy money on transfer fees. Typically, it's a transfer fee maybe slightly above market value, as City will tell you, but it's the wages where they go ballistic. I don't think we're going to get 100 million euros for him. However, the deal itself to a Saudi Arabian club, I think has a decent chance of happening. So 100 million euros, I'm going to give that a 0 out of 10. The idea of Casemiro going that quickly to Saudi Arabia, I'm going to give it, I think 7.5 out of 10. I think this is going to happen. Right, up next then, Bruno Fernandes. I mean, I don't want to finish saying this, but I'm not going to say the S on the end of his name. This rumour doesn't even deserve me saying his full name, let alone getting into it, let alone talking about fees and 70s and 100s, and I'm not talking about it. 0 out of 10. Bruno Fernandes is not leaving Manchester United, and if he does, it's one of the biggest mistakes United have made in the last 10 years, and that is saying something, because there's quite the catalogue of mistakes to be flicking through. Bruno Fernandes not going anywhere, 0 out of 10. Right then, and finally, Jadon Sancho. What's going on here? Dortmund want him, but we can't afford him. Fuck off. Honestly, I'm so sick. I don't know who this is. I'm sick of him, and I'm sick of Dortmund as well, selling all their players for shitloads of money. 100 million for Dembele, 100 million for this, 100 million for that. Oh, Haaland, we've got loads of money for him as well. Sancho, we've got loads of money for him. Mkhitaryan, Kagawa. They sell all these players, and they never have any money to buy anyone. I get on, it's their business model. What's your business model? Make profit and never win anything. They've won one German Cup in 10 years and that's all they've won. And they go around acting like they're this great, successful club. Oh, Haaland played for us. What did he win? Oh, well, just one cup. Okay, cool. I'm bored. Marco Reus has just retired, having won just slightly more than fuck all. And he's a club legend. Start spending money on players. You talk about him on social media like you love him. And then you go, we'll have him again if it's free. Well, I'll have him if it's free. I'll have Jadon Sancho playing at my house on FIFA with me if it's free. You have to pay for him as an employee. I'm sick of it. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10 because I think it could happen. But Dortmund need to get their wallet out. And we know it's full. They're selling players left, right and centre. Start spending some fucking money, will you? Right, that's going to be all from me. Stephen Hassan will be back next week for transfer review. And interestingly, you look at the players that we're after and it's not coming from the manager, which, I mean, I suppose is to be expected with what's going on with the ownership at Manchester United from now on. But there are some exciting names on that list. And as long as fucking Bruno don't go anywhere, I don't mind. That's all. Keep him safe. Thank you very much for watching. See you in a bit.